Alright, so now I'm going to go over title tags and I'm going to cover 4 items. I'm going to explain what they are and why they're important to SEO. I'm going to show you what they look like in the code of a website. I'm going to show you how to use them, and then we're going to talk about how not to use them. And I'm going to show you real-world examples for both 3 and 4. So I'm going to bring up a web browser here. And I am on Google, and I just did a search for, you can't see it. I just did a search for CNN, and the #1 result is for CNN.com. And if you have ever wondered what the deal is with this text at the very top that you can click on, that's actually a title tag. So a title tag is meant to be a short, accurate description of what your web page is about. And search engines pay a lot of attention to it because you're basically saying, hey, search engine, this is what my page is about, and it's going to show up here, so everybody's going to see it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And then if you want to see what they look like in the code of a website, you can right-click and go to View Page Source. So now we're looking at the source code of the site, and you see this thing that says title here with these marks, and then you can see this thing that says title, and this marker right here, that this / basically closes the tag. So this is actually a title tag, and you can understand what the word means a little bit more. And anything in between the beginning title tag and the end title tag is what's commonly called these are actually the title tags. If you want to be specific, this is the title tag text. But there it is. It's pretty simple, and it is pretty much at the top of the code for any web page you would ever want to look at. So it's a pretty simple aspect. But the really interesting thing about title tags is talking about how to use them to rank well in search engines. So one suggestion I would make is if you have a really strong brand, it makes sense to use your brand name in the title tag. So here's an example. I did a search for the word basketball, and the first result is for a Wikipedia page, and their title tag is basketball-Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Now at this point, Wikipedia has a great brand. It is very well known and very highly trusted. So by putting Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, in the title tag as the main thing people are going to see, that's going to encourage people to click on it because they know it, they trust it, they like it. So that works really well for somebody like Wikipedia. The NBA, same thing. NBA.com is ranking here. They just went with NBA.com because they have that great, strong brand. You're going to see NBA.com and you're thinking, yeah, that's authentic. That's the real thing right there. But I imagine about 99% of the people watching this video don't have a really strong brand. So I'm going to suggest you take a different tact. I'm going to suggest that you use keywords that people are searching for just in order to rank well in the first place. And let me expand on that a little bit more. So I'm going to bring up a different search. This time I did a search for De Pere, Wisconsin real estate. De Pere is where I grew up. And the first result is for Homes.com, and what they have is De Pere Homes for Sale and De Pere Real Estate. So this is the kind of title tag that you use when your primary goal is to make sure you're ranking well in the search engines and you're not as much focused on click-through rates, the likelihood of somebody wanting to click because they read this text. So what the search optimizers over at Homes.com said is that De Pere Homes for Sale is our primary keyword, so we're going to put that to the front, and our secondary keyword is De Pere Real Estate. So it just so happens that their site is so respected by the search engines that they can show up for De Pere, Wisconsin real estate, and they have the real estate term second and the homes for sale term first. And then you see Realtor.com, another big, fairly well-known site. But they're also focusing on the SEO aspect, getting a keyword-rich title tag, because Google places more emphasis on the title tag than any other aspect of your on-page optimization. So if you repeat the word De Pere, Wisconsin real estate 5 times, it's still not going to be anywhere near as important as just having that in your title tag. Generally, title tag is the thing they focus on most because it's supposed to be a short, accurate summary of your website. And the second most important thing they would focus on would be your H1 tag, and then the text on the page. So the other thing to think about beyond just ranking well is having text that makes people want to click. So it seems like everybody in the real estate space here is really focused on ranking well, but there are some examples I've seen and I've used successfully where you focus on trying to put something catchy up there in your title tag to get high click-through rates. Obviously, if you have a strong brand, it's simple. You just put your brand name. I'm not sure exactly what you do with real estate to make it catchy, but I've seen instances where people in let's say the consumer finance realm will put their keyword first and then have something like get the inside scoop, or what the banks don't tell you, or something that is kind of seems a little bit more like what you would see on the headline of a news organization. Like, I'm going to go back to CNN.com, and CNN is one of those organizations that is really good at picking headlines that people are going to want to click on. So here we see Gupta, I hadn't cried since I was a child. That's something that kind of pulls at your emotional strings a little bit. All these journalistic outlets, put up these title tags or it's not a title tag, it's just a headline that grabs your attention. And I think that this is one of the more underlooked aspects of SEO. A lot of us get kind of hung up on keywords and ranking well, and that is very important, but it's also good to make sure you have title tag text that people want to click on. So what I normally suggest is that in the beginning of your title tag, you focus on ranking well for certain keywords, because Google will focus a lot of emphasis on the first 2, 3, 4 words in your title tag, and the rest of it is just not nearly as focused. So sometimes what I'll do, if I have like a 2 or 3 word keyword I'm going after, I'll put the keywords right in the front, and then I'll have a dash, and then I'll have like a 5 to 6 word phrase that I'm trying to use to make people really want to click on it, because they think that there's something interesting or exciting. And you can really differentiate yourself in the SEO field by getting good at making tags that people want to click on. It's one of those things where there aren't a lot of people who can do both well. So if you can, you'll be much better off. So now let's take a few looks at websites that aren't using their title tags well and why they aren't. So I'm going to click on a website here for a bank in a really small town in northern Michigan. It's a town that only has like 3,000 people in it. It's where my buddy grew up. And it's bank@psb.com. Now, if you look up here, the title tag begins with People's State, and it gets cut off. So I'm going to show you what it is really quickly. I'm going to bring up the source code. And the title tag is People's State Bank of Munising, Michigan. And then it has some other stuff. And the problem is that they're using the same title tag on all of their pages. For example, let's click on their e-banking page. I'm going to go to Overview. And let me view the source code again. Come on. And it's People's State Bank of Munising, Michigan, blah, 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 blah. Now, the problem here is that they're not taking advantage of their title tag as a way to rank well in search engines for whatever their specific content is. So, this is a page about the bank's e-banking. So they would really want to get the e-banking keyword in the title tag somewhere towards the front if they wanted to attract more attention from search engines to this page. And this is what I would say is the most basic mistake that people make with their title tags is they don't mix them up and put custom title tags on each page to focus on the general thrust of the page. Again, you go to the telephone banking page, and I'm going to wait for it to load for a second here. I could bring up here. I'll bring up a source code, and again, it's just People's State Bank of Munising, Michigan, blah blah blah. It's not telephone banking dash People's State Bank of Munising, which would be better for ranking in the search engines for people typing in telephone banking in Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Another way people misuse title tags, I'm going to show you Google search here. So I searched for the term balloon loan. Let me scroll down here. So the first organic result was for a site called My Finances, and this is actually the 100th page in Google. Here, let me just show you this. So I had to scroll way down to find a lousy example for you. We started over here, and then I had to scroll all the way to page 10 to find some lousy examples of title tags. Let's go back up to it. So what they did is they went with their brand name first, and then their keywords. And the problem is they don't have a great brand. MyFinances.com might be a great website, but I've never heard of it before, and you probably never have either. So they would be much better off if they put Balloon Loan Calculator first, and then you can have MyFinances.com second if you want to. If they really want to get the brand name, that's fine. But it would be nice if they just ditched the whole brand name altogether, unless they really believe they have an outstanding brand, and focused on something that would make people want to click through after they get the Balloon Loan Calculator to the front of the title tag.